If you had an obsessive dance game phase back when you could still find great cabs in mom and pop arcades, you probably developed the skill to identify any dance game cabinet as soon as it was perceivable by any of your senses. Like, if you showed me this picture, the first thing that I would think is, oh shit, that's a Dedicab bar. Then I'd beeline across the room listening to the attract string music, because if it was Wanna-Do, then it's a stock ITG machine, and that kind of sucks. But if it was Alabama, that's a hacked machine, and it's running ITG Ice, and there's going to be some yummy shit on there. And I know I'm not the only one. There's an old documentary called Lord of the Dance Machine, and there's a scene where the player K-Dog does the same thing.
Extreme. I can hear absolute.
Except, that's not an extreme machine. And I know K-Dog knows what an ITG machine is, so some editor doesn't know shit about dance games. And it really ruined the narrative. Like, the whole scenes prior, he's like talking about how he really wants to play on an ITG machine, and while he's like, walking around town, and then like he passes an arcade that happens to have one, and he gets all excited for his dance game machine, but they put in the extreme vocals. And what they were probably going for was like, this guy's super excited to like see this niche dance game machine, but what it really comes off as is like, you show this guy 4 panels, he's gonna freak out and run away from you. Anyway, what I'm getting at is we all have a part of our brain that is dedicated to detecting predators in bushes. And mine's owned by Roxor Games. The last time I went to a public arcade to play dance games was like a decade ago, and this still happens to me. So I assume I'm going to die with this. It's like an infection. By Kyle Ward. Dance game cabinets aren't as common as they used to be, so this really doesn't come up when I go outside. However, dance games do appear in movies and television, and when they do, infection out of wanna-do times, my immersion is broken. And instead of worrying about Michael Cera and his dating issues, I am now worrying about Ninja Revolution. How does that game work? Who made those pads? Is the cabinet a reskin Pump DX cab, or maybe a 3D DX cab without the sensor scaffolding on top? I don't know, but by the time I snap out of it, the chick he was dating dyed her hair, she got a new man, Michael Cera is very unhappy about it, and there's a love triangle in the movie now. There are way too many examples of dance games in media, so I'm just going to go over the one that I like the most. And that one comes from the show Black Mirror. Black Mirror is a show that I've only seen one episode of because my roommate happened to be watching it. I've been told it's kind of like the Twilight Zone, where each episode's like its own story, and like it's supposed to make you think about technology, man. But we don't care about that. What we do care about, though, is that the episode San Junipero has a DDR machine in it for about 15 seconds. This is a spoiler-free video, by the way. The only thing that's relevant for us is that it takes place in this like club arcade thing in California during the year 2002. I don't know who was in charge of making these sets time period accurate. I think it was these two, maybe. But they did an amazing job selecting cabinets that you would find at an arcade or a movie theater during 2002. They got the Miss Pac-Man Galaga combo cab. They got the 3D version of Gauntlet. They got 2 of the prominent Lycan games, Point Blank 2 and House of the Dead 2. They missed Area 51 Site 4, but that's fine. Most importantly, they have that DDR cab. This isn't just any DDR cabinet though. This is an aggressively accurate DDR cab for the time. This is a DDR third mix machine that was upgraded to Max 2, which is 7th mix. So the fact that the Black Mirror team chose to keep the third mix marquee on there is very interesting. Why though? Well, the peak of DDR's popularity was roughly 2001 to 2004. Which is weird when you pair that with the fact that the 2 closest mixes that Konami released in the US were DDR USA in 2000 and DDR Supernova in 2006. While the home version sold well, Konami's official US releases in the arcade completely missed the craze. So suppose you were an arcade owner in 2002 and you saw this DDR thing on Fox News.
And is this something like, I know like EverQuest and other games like that people do for hours and hours. Is this something that kids
You can find yourself saying just one more song.
And you wanted to make money off of it. Would you sit around and wait for Konami to redistribute this game that they haven't been sending to America for like 2 years now? Or would you do what all good American businesses do? Just a little bit of crime. See, DDR's rise in popularity just so happens to coincide with its oversaturation point in Japan. The situation is described in Counting Combos by Aaron Kmielwick. There is no chance I pronounced that correctly, but it's the Aaron from Aaron in Japan. It's a great book to read if you're interested in early Japanese DDR culture. Seriously, look how many freaking sticky note annotations I got in this bad boy. Allow me to summarize some of what Aaron wrote. In Japan during 1999 and 2000, DDR was getting mad popular. Konami was releasing strange DDR experiments, including this thing where you would sing karaoke and the game would auto-gen charts to the songs. This is also when DDR 3rd and 4th mix came out, but they didn't come out once. Between them, they came out 7 times, and that's not even including Disney Mix or all of this other shit. Arcade owners saw this, and then they thought oh, maybe this DDR thing's getting a little oversaturated. So they started sending their machines back to the distribution warehouses. The warehouses that got these machines couldn't export the machines due to copyright and distribution law, so what they would do is sell the machines to other unrelated third-party distributors. Then, those third-party distributors did what all great Japanese businesses do. Just a little bit of crime. They exported those machines to North America and Europe. This means 2 things. First off, if you play DDR at an arcade before Supernova, you're a criminal, and you deserve to be behind bars. It's in the warning screen, and you didn't listen. The second thing is that most of America's cabinets at the time were 1st through 4th mix machines. But out of all those mixes, why do we care about 3rd mix? It's because 3rd mix is the earliest cabinet that you can use to upgrade through 8th mix. When a new DDR mix came out, Konami would sell an upgrade kit, so you can upgrade your cabinet to run the new mix without having to buy a new cab. It'd come with the software, a marquee, that sticker thing that would be on all the cabinets in the photos but never ended up coming over to America because they would all get ripped off by then, and some other shit. 1st and 2nd mix were unique though. They shipped with an older computer system on the inside called Bimani System 573 Analog, and then 3rd through 8th mix came with a newer system called Bimani System 573 Digital. They were different in how they generated sound. According to the Konami wiki, the System 573 Analog uses the analog audio output from a CD drive, whereas the System 573 Digital gets audio through the IDE connector of a CD drive. Thus, all communications with the drive are digital in this version. If that was all tech mumbo jumbo to you, you don't need to worry about it. The only thing you need to know is that you can't upgrade 1st or 2nd mix past 2nd mix. I asked the Rhythm Game Cabs Discord about this, and Sheepy Chris did mention that it might be possible to make the upgrade work, but I don't know if anyone's actually done it. Anyway, in America, if you wanted a machine running Max 2, you had 2 options. You could buy a machine that's already running Max 2 on it, or you could buy an older machine and an upgrade kit and upgrade it to Max 2. Based on the pricing I found in the Wayback Machine, buying a 3rd mix cab and upgrading was way cheaper than buying the cab outright. And I assume that most arcades did this because when I first started playing, a lot of the machines were 3rd or 4th mix machines in the marquee upgraded to Max or Max 2. Or they were before Extreme just took over everything. Overall though, if you were playing DDR in an arcade in 2002, there was a decent chance you were playing on this 3rd mix Max 2 upgrade cabinet. And that's why I love it so much. The episode calls out 2002 in America and delivers a very specifically accurate machine. The only thing that kind of sucks is that we don't know if this was done on purpose, right? Because if it was a common machine at the time, they could have just pulled a random DDR machine out of the warehouse to put on the set, and there's a decent chance it would have been the right one. Regardless, I thought it'd be cool to talk about. But as I rewatched the clip to make this video, I noticed some strange details. I don't remember Max 2's clear text looking like that. And what are those bars on the results screen? Why does the machine say dancing stage? It's because that's not a DDR machine. That's a dancing stage machine running Euromix 2. Why does this set use the European localization of Max 2? Well, it turns out Black Mirror is a British show, and none of that episode was shot in America. So yeah, they probably only had European cabinets lying around. The interesting part, though, is that I don't think there were any official 3rd mix to Euromix 2 upgrade paths. I went back to the Rhythm Game Cab Discord group and asked if anyone knew about this. Animaniac said that he hasn't come across any cross-region upgrade kits, and Spicy JPEG said that it could potentially work, but you'd have to basically Frankenstein the system together. So I'm taking this as there aren't any 3rd mix to Euromix 2 upgrade cabs out there, which means that they purposefully put the DDR 3rd mix marquee in that machine. And while it's entirely possible that they just threw that marquee on there because it's called DDR in the US, I like to think that the Black Mirror production team understands the minutia of all these DDR upgrade paths and regions that they were available in, and then they put that in there for us, the dance gamers.